and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that has been throwing bread incessantly since watching Spider-Man No Way Home. It's Norbert Morvan.
This would be a cool way to die, Hoffmeyer.
Elena's so great.
Man, look, in all of the baton passing that the MCU's been doing since, all the major people are getting old, she's one of my favorite characters. Yeah. She's so good.
Got her, Haley Steinfeld. Like, you have some actors with personality who are just funny. And gosh. And, this year, if you're listening, Norbert and I originally planned to pack in the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV and movies into one episode. But the TV talk went about an hour and a half. So we decided to split it up. So now we're talking about the movies. And I enjoyed the offerings in 2021. We're talking about Yelena, and I don't know if the first time I watched Black Widow, I got a screener for it. I remember, so this is my thing. Like, I'm a big Scarlett Johansson fan. Like, I remember watching Lost in Translation, Norbert. You know how emo I am. And I went and bought the poster. I bought the soundtrack. I bought the DVD. I'm just a big fan of her work. I think that she is an Oscar-nominated excellent actress. And I think of all the MCU people, I mean, you think about Iron Man 2, like all these different movies, she's sort of been just sort of sidelined when she might be one of the most accomplished of all the actors in the MCU. So when I watched Black Widow, I thought, okay, this is going to be her movie. This is going to be her Iron Man. This is going to be her. What's another one? Like Doctor Strange movie carried by her. And when I watched it, it was kind of her sensibilities packed in with Florence Pugh. Then you had David Harbour, and then you had Rachel Weisz, and you just had Ray Winstone. You just had all these different people in here, and Natasha Romanoff, she's never like the funniest one. And so having a maniac like Yelena and helicopters falling from the sky, and she's legit suicidal in this. She thinks she's going to die. You have Alexei snapping arms, and so I was a little disappointed because I wanted it to be Scarlet Black Widow story. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm always complaining about how people let their expectations wreck movies for them. So then I sort of sat, this is deep thoughts of Mark Hoffmeyer, but I sat there and I just kind of thought to myself, okay, this is what you wanted, but this is what the movie was. I've watched it probably 4 times since then because I love the dynamic of it. I think that Florence Pugh, I love weird. And she's suicidal odd in this. She's a weirdo.
Odd.
Yeah.
And she's odd, and she's ready to die.
And you know what I love, too, right? We're going to talk about our favorite moments in it. But there's a scene where she goes to shoot herself on top of Dreykov's helicopter. Yeah. And what I like, she shoots herself on top of here. There's no superhero landing, Norbert. She thuds. She thuds on it. So she's just kind of this, I wouldn't say she's the most graceful. She's just sort of like a maniac killing machine. And I love that about the character. One thing I want to bring up to you is I was talking to somebody, DJ Valentine of Simplistic Reviews. He talked about the final fight of Captain America Civil War with me. And he talked about how Alexei's character, the one thing that's interesting, like David Harbour's character has no arc in this movie.
None
He doesn't sacrifice himself. He doesn't become a better person.
Nope.
I mean, is that necessary? Like, should he have been the one who should he have died sacrificing himself? Do they just like having him around?
I think
either way, I love it.
I think they were just trying to shoehorn yet another old school background kind of D-list Marvel villain into the movie because she's Yelena totally just says, you're just the Crimson Dynamo, and Crimson Dynamo is an old school Iron Man villain. He was also armored up. He was one of those guys who puts on a suit of armor and fights with Iron Man. So it was funny that they just brought him in there and they called him the Red Guardian instead. That's a different guy.
I still like him because I think Black Widow is going to be one of my most rewatchable of all the MCU films. Because
it's so good. JT Fagbinelli, I probably mispronounced his name. He's great as the little kind of fixer guy. He's just showing up. He shows up out of nowhere with a Russian helicopter, and they're like, "This is the best you can do." Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, where do you get a Russian helicopter from, man? You can't go on eBay and buy a Russian helicopter. You know what I'm saying? What's happening with that?
And I love that Olga Kurylenko could play a role in future movies because I think Quantum of Solace is my least favorite Bond film, but I like her in that. And she's been doing like action movies lately, like The Courier and all these films. So I'd love to see her in other movies coming up. Black Widow, for me, once I was able to sort of reframe my expectations as opposed to what the movie is, I love it. I really do.
No, it's really good, man. And what you mentioned about Scarlet throughout the MCU, why isn't she used more? She's not overpowered, but she clearly knows how to crack a security system, knock out waves of henchmen. You know what I'm saying? It's the same complaint that a lot of people have with the Book of Boba Fett series, where Ming-Na Wen is just super underutilized. Why do we have these rock and roll kids on these Vespa bikes instead of just letting Ming-Na Wen just literally shoot this guy from 1,000 yards? But it's all good.
Yeah.
So the movie can happen. You know what I'm saying?
As Niall Moore would call it, the Vespa kids.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's still fine.
I do wonder about that, but I guess he needs to build a gang. And
right.
So
that's exactly
like it sidelines her character in the process of it, but Rancor. So before we were recording, we were talking about Black Widow's usage of Smells Like Teen Spirit, who I used to cover when I was in Johnny Party and the Furious Funksters, Norbert.
Oh God, I need that YouTube video right now.
Actually, one of the band members said if I ever make it big, he's going to share it with the world, and then I'm doomed. Like, nothing wrong is with it. It's just horrible warbling for 25 minutes. We were talking about the cover of it during the beginning of this movie, and then you said you had something in store for us.
Indeed. In the tradition of movies like Donnie Darko and Black Widow, I've taken a popular, cheerful song and slowed it down and made it very breathy and depressing. And, I just figured I might debut it here and see if you guys can recognize it. And it goes a little something like this. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery. Or rewrite history. They're DuckTales. Ooh. Every day they're out there making DuckTales. Ooh. Tales of daring you got into DuckTales.
Yes. Right. Now do that in a Tommy Lee Jones voice.
I'm saying life is like a hurricane.
I was like, he's gonna do it.
It's an amazing and a strange trend. What was the Zack Snyder trailer? Zombie. And so they take that song about a child being murdered during the IRA revolution, and it's like, oh, you know what would be great? Let's put it in a zombie movie because it says zombie, and just the point has gone completely over your head.
At least the Immigrant Song by Karen O. At least that rocked. That wasn't like she wasn't singing it very moodily. Man, Norbert, what's the most messed up song that actually has Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls, super emo?
This Teen Spirit thing, this was really weird because this is a song, Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's a song, about just the banality of trends and fame. And they just take it, I'm so depressed. Let's not do that anymore, man. Let's just, I wish I had a solution to this problem, but it's not going to ever get solved, I think, man.
Yeah.
It's been going since Donnie Darko, I think. I think Donnie Darko was the first to take that Tears for Fears song, Mad World, and just slow it down. But don't get it twisted, though. The opening sequence of this movie is very cool.
The kids? Oh, yeah.
It is, when we learn that Black Widow has had an involuntary hysterectomy so that she can forever be the perfect assassin and never, be
sidelined.
Sidelined, with childcare. That is horrible, man. And so you get this quick flash of just, so they've been doing this to a lot of girls, actually. you know, and that, oof, there's a darkness. And then Yelena, even that's actually my favorite part.
They tied our floopy, like when she makes that speech to David Harbour.
She's just breaking it down to David Harbour. You know, well, I don't have period because I don't have a uterus. I was like, wow, oh my God. It's one of those. It's a perfect distillation of why certain kinds of comedy are perfect and certain kinds of comedy are not, because we make jokes about things because they're horrible. If we think about them, you know, as they actually happen, we make light of terrible situations so that we can deal with them better. And she'll never be able to have kids. That is horrible. And so she just breaks it down. And then as you're saying, how Alexei has no arc, you know, okay, I get it. You don't have to be so graphic and clinical. It's like, no, dude, actually I do.
Yeah. like basically Jim Belushi from According to Jim.
Exactly.
This movie.
Exactly. It's there. I don't know any other violation that's worse than what happened to her. It's horrible.
And you know what I love too is, like, for me, Marvel movies are at their best when they're allowed to be weird. So remember in Thor Ragnarok when Tessa Thompson, her introduction, and she just walks drunkenly off her plane and falls on the ground? That's like the weirdest thing. And then I love in Ant-Man and the Wasp when there's an entire 5-minute scene about truth serum.
Yes.
In Ant-Man, there's that Baskin Robbins scene. That's my fate. That's when I love the MCU, is when it embraces weird. And for me, I was hoping for, you know, a Scarlett Johansson standalone beautiful send-off. But now I just like the weirdness of Yelena running around. And can I give out my first award, I guess, for Black Widow?
Bring it in.
Well, it's her vest. It's her vest that Natasha wears in Infinity War. And I found the dialogue. And I found a lot of articles about that vest and about pockets. And, you know, my wife, Megan, she loves pockets. So, like, whenever she gets something with pockets, she's like, Mark, these have pockets. And so it just makes me happy. But I love it. She's like, you know, this is the first piece of clothing I've ever bought for myself. And that, you don't like it? And then Natasha's like, yeah, it's like army surplus. And she's like, okay, it has a lot of pockets, but I use them all the time. And I made some of my own modifications. And then she's like, shut up. My point is, I've never had control over my own life. And now I do. I want to do things. And then Natasha's like, I like your vest. I knew it. I knew you did. It's so cool, right? And then Natasha's like, it's good. Yes, I like it. And she's like, and you can put so much stuff in here. You wouldn't even know. And listen, Norbert, I grew up in the age of, so my brother was briefly a manager at Abercrombie and Fitch. Nice. And I couldn't afford those clothes. I was, you know, an Old Navy guy. Nothing wrong with Old Navy. But
no, not at all.
I ended up getting a pair of Abercrombie and Fitch cargo shorts, camo. Ooh. I don't know why they were camo, but I'm telling you. Because I'm from, and I wore flip-flops with them. And I was sitting there one day with his girlfriend, and I remember I just started pulling stuff out of all my cargo short pockets. And I'm telling you, Norbert, I had a toy dinosaur in there. Like, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how I must have put it in there months ago. But you know, you're in college, you don't watch stuff much. But I just kept pulling stuff out of my pockets. So when she talks about there's so much stuff in here, I was totally on board with it. And then knowing that my wife loves pockets, I was all about my cargo shorts. The pockets just resonated with me, man. And like, I like how Natasha kind of was cool about it towards the end. She was kind of making fun of it, and she's like, no, I get it. This is cool. This is a good scene.
No, agreed, man. Their whole family is a construct in the first place, you know? And so when you finally realize that, oh, snap, you know, this is not actually her blood sister. None of these people are her blood relatives. So all they have is this fake family that they managed to put together. And, you know, she goes through the MCU. Eventually, they start to give Black Widow a little bit more of a personality and vibe other than just, you know, hot girl who beats up Tony Stark in Iron Man 2. Yeah. You know? And you know, she begins to develop a relationship with Banner, and you realize, you know, hey, you know, she kind of would like to have kids, but she can't. She calls herself a monster. And so she sees that Yelena is this younger girl who's gone through the same thing that she has. There's a real connection, man. And like you say, man, Johansson is a great actress. You know, she's never, so you know, one thing that women can't get away with really in movies is being a Vince Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Vince Vaughn is Vince Vaughn and everything. You know what I mean? Vince Vaughn's Vince Vaughn and everything. The one time he wasn't Vince Vaughn, it was in Psycho. And when that failed, he's been Vince Vaughn for 20 years. Period. Point blank. Scarlett Johansson has mad range.
Oh, dude. And she, like, you know, Under the Skin, like, she takes weird movies too. Like, she goes for it.
She seems like one of the coolest. She is, you know, I would like to have a beer and talk with her about, what the proper way is to make a ham and cheese sandwich. You know what I'm saying? She would break that down.
Her, John Leguizamo, and
Yeah.
who else would be cool to drink? Like having them as a group. Daniel Bruhl. I think they're having them drink with them.
Bruhl's a weirdo.
Yeah,
Bruhl's
exactly.
definitely a weirdo. He's got range.
And you know what I like about Black Widow too? It's not an award, but I like that she gets to go like full grown person on during her fights. When those widows come after her, she takes out like 12 of them.
Yeah.
I like that they gave her a moment. I like that she's skydiving from people make fun of Ray Winstone a lot in this movie, the villain.
Yes.
But I feel like he was just trying to be like the Avengers, but not. Does that make like he was trying to mimic?
Oh yeah.
They were.
Oh yeah.
And I actually liked his style. I liked if you think about the character a lot, I think, and also too, Norbert, like people talk about how the MCU has a villain problem.
Right.
But a lot of these movies, I don't think are about the villain. I mean, watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like it's Walton Goggins. Like it's clearly not a villain issue. This movie is not supposed to be Ray Winstone being Killmonger. This is just Ray Winstone being a jerk so Natasha can smash her nose.
Exactly.
So I think for what he does, he's fine. And I understand the character. He wants to be a Tony Stark. He wants to belong. And I feel like he's mad that he doesn't belong. And so he's on the periphery. And I like that about him. I think there would be this character does exist to me, Norbert.
Yeah, he's a real guy, but I don't find him to be so much as a Tony Stark kind of guy. He's more of a Karl Rove, Dick Cheney behind the scenes, actually pulling the strings kind of guy. You know what I mean? Because like he said, my Black Widows are all over the world. They can start war and end a war. They'll kill your mom when she forgets to pay her cable bill and no one will ever find out, that kind of thing. And the only problem I had with that guy is, what is his accent? Is it Russian? Is it British? It's all over the place.
Yeah,
and
Winston didn't care. Yeah, Winston.
Exactly.
If you watch Sexy Beast, you know he's a good actor.
He is. Yeah.
And so you watch this, I have a question, Norbert. So like, this is the MCU, and this, I don't believe this is our world. It's just another world. So his accent is whatever Russian American accents are in that world.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. Because
I mean, look at Wanda. They've gone way back on her accent.
They even made jokes like what happened to your accent? They literally directly asked her, like, what happened to your accent, bro?
Do you think, I know Aaron Taylor Johnson got killed in Ultron and he didn't want to do a lot of them, but I like him. He would have been a good addition, I think. Or am I crazy?
It could have been just the script, but he proves in Godzilla that he doesn't really have much of a personality.
Yeah, he didn't carry that.
He's a blank slate for the audience to project their feelings on. And so, yeah, he's okay. He was all right, not the greatest. I like the other guy. I forget his name.
You watch Haley, right? Haley Steinfeld, and she just carries everything she's like. She could have a script that's like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And
magnetic personality. Magnetic. Yeah. But what you were saying before about the villains, the problem with the MCU villains is not so much the directors or the writers. It's just, this is how comic books are. It's usually the villain ends up being just the polar opposite of the hero. Now, Spider-Man comics. Right. Iron Man's always got to fight some guy in a suit, which is why later on in Iron Man comics, you start to get the Mandarin with his rings. We'll talk about Shang-Chi later. But, you get Mandarin. He's a guy who's actually not in a suit. You get the Living Laser, a dude who is a living laser. You know what I mean? But early on, there's the Crimson Dynamo. There's Justin Hammer. He's also a businessman, but he's bad. You know what I mean? That's just the way that things are in comics. The Hulk. His greatest enemy, Abomination, who is also the Hulk, but bad. That's just the way it is. So people who complain about comic book villains, they're just being disingenuous. They're looking for something to hate. One of the things that I do is the last few years during our, shall we say, strange times, I've been getting more into Twitter. And on Twitter, Twitter can be a sewer, but I realize that, if you curate the things that you see, you can get a lot of good information.
I get my MMA fight updates there because it's the quickest place to learn about MMA fights. Right.
Basketball, sports and entertainment, it's great. Occasional news, you'll get some great stuff. You just got to watch out for the trolls, and you can get rid of them. So long story short, one of the guys that I get responses from, like he directly responds to me, is Jerry Conway, the guy who created The Punisher.
Ooh.
Yeah, he created The Punisher and he killed Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker's girlfriend. And so one of the things that I mentioned is, hey, Jerry, a lot of people complain about there are too many comic book movies. There are too many comic book movies. And back in the day, there were a lot in like the 60s and 70s. There were a bunch of cowboy movies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so did people complain like that? And he says, yeah, it's basically the same argument that people are making then that people make now. And so I felt good that Jerry Conway validated me because Jerry Conway is awesome.
That's a great point. I mean, listen, whatever, okay, remember when American Pie came out and how many copies there were of that? I mean, that's Hollywood. If these movies make money.
Right.
You know what I think it is, though? Can I pause it? Because we have a lot more to talk about.
Please, pause it. Pause it.
The problem with the MCU is everything is connected.
Right.
So there's almost like this fear of missing out where you feel like you have to watch it. And if you don't watch it, you're missing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how the comics work.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. But do you think people are like, okay, well, I have to go watch this now because if I don't watch this and that, because in the past you just had Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 coming out, 6 years apart. Now it's 4 movies, and if you don't watch all 4 of those movies, you might miss something. So then people feel like it's not enjoyment anymore; it's more like homework.
It's homework.
And listen,
right.
I watch all of them, Norbert, so I don't have that complaint. I think they're quality, and they're going to continue to make them and keep theaters alive. So that's not my issue, but I do know some people who I do trust and respect that have this. I don't know.
Here's how I look at it. Ridley Scott, he made Covenant, right? James Franco's in Covenant, but James Franco's not in Covenant. All of James Franco's good scenes are on YouTube. Yeah. And Numi Rapace, her character's also in Covenant.
Wait,
but
is she?
Actually, well, that's exactly right. Yeah. All her good scenes are on YouTube. That's homework. That's actual homework. But the way that the Marvel Comics and the MCU work, they explain enough in these movies that if you don't know what happened, you could go back and watch the rest, but you don't have to. It's the same way that when they have the comics events, they have maybe a 5 to 7 issue limited series, and then they have, okay, you can also check out in Spider-Man's book what he was doing while this was going on, and you can check out the Things book and so on and so forth. So if you see everything, you get a better picture, but if you just focus on the main series, you're not really missing anything.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
It just fleshes it out. It's just people complaining, man.
Oh, can I drop one more award on you for Black Widow before we move on?
Drop them.
So I love this sequence when Yelena says, when she watches the snow falling down the mountain, she goes, "This would be a cool way to die."
Great
and
line.
Then when she's about to get her head sliced open, she's like, "This is not a cool way to die."
Callback.
And that just makes me so happy. And then remember when she's about to basically kill herself, and then she's like, "Well, this was fun." Like she said, "This was fun." She's a maniac, Norbert.
She's gone through a lot. She's gone through a lot, man. And unlike Natasha, Natasha, she's got
years prior.
Right. She got out, and she didn't have the whole chemical thing that makes you awake while this is happening. So Yelena's seen a lot of dark shit, man, and she wants to stop. And she has no friends, no family. She doesn't trust these people, But even though she reconnected with her fake mom, fake dad, and fake sister, she's still like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with this, Yeah. And then one final shout out before we go. This movie, it opens with basically the end of that series that was on FX, The Americans. I do like that little nod to that series where you have that fake family. With Carrie.
Yeah.
They're always just 10 seconds away from being discovered as Russian secret agents that live in suburbia. So I do love that. That was cool.
And the nose break. I know it's straight from the comics. And you told me that. I remember I mentioned that to you and you're like, "Yo, comics." And I actually read through the article about that. But I didn't. So, it's crazy. Natasha she basically Loki'd him. Remember Loki from Avengers when she played Loki? She did this to Ray Winstone.
Yeah, that's her thing.
And dude, but when she breaks her nose, I'm like, she finally got her moment. And like, that just made me happy. Like it was like a hook, line and sinker, really cool moment. And, it took me to probably the second watch to really appreciate that. I just got to say, man, of all my feelings of 2021 watching a movie, it felt good for me to really recenter my expectations and realize, like, Mark, what you expect out of a movie doesn't make it good or bad. Like, you can't.
Exactly.
A movie isn't bad if you want something and it doesn't happen. And so that it kind of helped me recenter, because I actively found myself feeling that way. But that's not the movie's fault. That's my expectation. So I thought that was kind of cool to go through.
Absolutely. There was a time when subverting expectations, when a movie subverts your expectations, that was a good thing. Yeah. But today people want what they want. And this is why the difference between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker is so dramatic, because you're listening to the wrong people. Just make your story, you know. Black Widow is affirming just women in cinema too, you know, because that feminine wiles kind of thing. Oh, I'm just a dumb girl. Why don't you tell me your plan? She does that multiple times in the MCU, and guys fall for it. And she knows they will, because men are stupid. Go. Right. And she's like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to sleep with you or anything. I just got the information. Ha ha, I'm out. Oof.
And so I think director Kate Shortland did a good job too. Like, I really dig, like, she, you know, she's done some shows. She did Smilf, a few others, Berlin Syndrome, which is a good movie, but I think she handled it really well. I think she kind of knew the characters, and then also, like, you could tell that she trusted Florence Pugh a lot. And I think that's sometimes a good director. Like, you know, Norbert, you are an excellent, what sport should give me a sport.
Badminton.
All right, so you're like the best badminton player on your team, but you realize that your teammate's having a heater. So you let your teammate have it because they're on a run better than you. And I think Kate Shortland sort of saw that, embraced it. Does that make sense? Like, that's a good 100%. Director though, when you let somebody ride a wave. And I think she directed it really well. So I dug Black Widow a lot.
100%. She just says, okay, Florence, it's your turn to hit the shuttlecock. Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, man. So are you ready for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings?
Shang-Chi, let's go, baby.
Dude, I think delaying this episode was the best thing that could happen, because I watched this movie again on top of watching it again. Just watching Tony Leung, just watching him rip it up in the beginning, watching the bus chase through San Francisco, which I think is amazing.
It's a great scene.
I don't like saying which are my favorites, but Shang-Chi and Black Widow are the ones I'm going to rewatch the most by far. I just love the energy of it. You know, Katie and Sean, I love watching them do karaoke. Like, I just love that bit. I love that Trevor. I love Iron Man 3 because how it subverts expectations. That makes me so happy. And just watching this movie and just the scaffolding fight, the bus fight, the Warriors poster on his all my favorite things. Warriors, Outcast, but just the final fight at the end with the dragon and the soul stealing, and then Razor Fist, like he has a car. It's just
it's so absurd.
It's just like a pure joy movie for me. And the humor in it, there's enough weirdness in it with Trevor. It's I think I love the Marvel movies that just get a little weird.
No, agreed, man. And, you know, Shang-Chi has so much to overcome, you know, because the comics of Shang-Chi, the comics with Asian characters in general, you know, the Fu Manchu controversy, you know, the Mandarin controversy. These guys are all just, you know, drawn to be horrific Asian stereotypes. And so when you find out that the Mandarin's going to be in Iron Man 3, you're thinking, how are they going to do this? Then you see it's Ben Kingsley and you go, what the hell's going on? And then, thank God it wasn't real.
Yeah. It's funny. When we had those conversations, Norbert, everyone was like, we can't do this.
Yeah, not at all.
And then it's like, all right, let's just make this stupid. Like, let's make it silly. And I think that's a smart decision. Exactly. I really do. And then they saved it for this. And look who they got, man. Look who they got to be the head of the Ten Rings. I mean, it's
Tony Leung is an iconic Hong Kong actor. Okay.
Hard boiled. Megan got me hard boiled for Christmas. And so she found this like ultimate edition of hard boiled for me.
Nice.
Because she knows how much I love that movie. But just seeing him, Norbert,
he brings such gravitas to stuff. Such gravitas. Infernal Affairs, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to see The Departed, but even better.
Way better.
Even better. Watch Infernal Affairs. That is such a heart-rending movie, man.
If you want to watch one of the greatest action movies of all time, watch Hard Boiled.
100%. 100%. But yeah. So we got Shang-Chi. And we have all of that stuff that in the comics that they have to overcome, stereotyping. And then we also have the fact that there are actual Asians and Asian Americans involved with the creation of the film. So they put themselves into it, and you get all of these really good feelings, these good vibes, the martial arts aspect plus Disney money. So that scene, oh my God, are you kidding me? That bus scene is incredible. Okay. And then just the random Aquafina knows how to drive because they know how to drive. Okay, whatever.
At least they established that in the beginning with her driving the car. And then she talks about like being Jeff Gordon. And that's all I need from a mover. That's all I need from a movie, Norbert, is when someone in the beginning's like, listen, I can drive. And then a scene happens and they're like, I'll drive. Like that's all I need.
That's it.
That's all I need. So, and like, but also that bus chase, I watched it again. I know it's completely different countries, right? But if you think about Old Boy, it's South Korea, obviously. But there's the hallway fight. In this, during the subway fight, there's a long shot of like what Shang-Chi fighting through the bus. Yeah. In a extended kind of hallway-esque dolly tracking shot. And he delivers 10 strikes. And also too, like bringing Florian Montanu in there, he played Dolph Lundgren's son. Dude's a brick.
Really?
And in Creed 2, he plays watching him the first fight where he beats up the henchman and then watching that dude drop his like cloak and then put his arm on there and then just cut his way through. It's such like a cool. It's a fight, but it also tells a story. You learn that he can fight. You learn and then also the brakes go out in kind of an organic way because you cut through the ground. And it's just a really neat fight scene. And I think it's beautiful. Man, I remember sitting in theaters and just going, this is next level. Like
it is.
This is beautiful. I don't know. Then the scaffolding fight happened, and I thought that was really cool with the heights added in. But man, I think that bus fight's probably one of my favorite action scenes of the year by far.
Agreed, 100%. And so now that we have established that Damage Control, RIP to Dwayne McDuffie for creating Damage Control. Damage Control exists in the Marvel Universe as kind of the insurance company that deals with destruction of superhero battles. Are they going to pay that woman for that laptop? Because I would be pissed if my laptop got destroyed. Superhero battle, bro. I got all my classic games on that laptop. If I can't play Bubble Bobble anymore because Shang-Chi saved my life, I'm going to be pissed. I'd rather be dead. Who's paying me back for that laptop, bro? That's my question.
Oh, I watched a few MMA fights, so I'm going to rate this fight scene. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing that I've ever. Oh, man. And speaking of fights, so there's a new show on YouTube. It's called Ultimate Fight Club, and Joseph Benavides is the host of it, and he's a former WEC, UFC title challenger. I think one of the best ever 125-pounders ever fighting. He has a show now, and my wife Megan told me about it because he's married to Megan Levy, who does reporting for UFC. So if you want to listen to a fun new YouTube show, listen to Ultimate Film Club. So check him out on Instagram. I know I'm just throwing it out there, but he's a great fighter. No, this movie though, man, like I took Megan with it when you were just raving about it on the way home because I really. So in terms of watchability, for me, I think it's Thor Ragnarok, the 2 Ant-Man movies, this and Black Widow that I can watch a lot, that I'll put on. And I don't know, I just love the opening fight where he's just destroying people. And I love that Razor Fist has a car. And I researched it, Norbert. It's a BMW iX3. And it has frozen gray metallic paintwork featuring quirky elements and striking colors. The grille incorporates bright blue teeth that make the typical BMW look even more striking. The hood bears Razor Fist logo. And then he has Razor Fist. This dude has his own car. And it's fully electric.
The thing that managed to actually strike me in this movie is oh my God, I'm choking. The thing that managed to strike me in this movie is how it just continues the tradition of Disney characters with dead moms. And something's going on with their dad. You got this movie. You got Bambi. You got The Lion King. You got Finding Nemo. On and on and on. He's just so mad. And this time, daddy's trying to get mommy back. He's insane about it.
Yeah. And so you like him too, right? Like it's not his fault that, he wore the rings and destroyed the world for thousands of years. But that at least drove him so insane that he went and did this. So there's at least that's what the good villains are too. Like you like, and then he makes a sacrifice at the end. Jeez Louise. Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. But of course, had you watched Tony Leung movies in the past, you would realize, yeah, that's a Tony Leung thing. That's what his characters do, man. His characters always end up, I'm going to do the right thing.
Man.
Yeah.
Some people are talking about the greatest action films of all time, and people are releasing like top 10 lists, and like none of them were from Hong Kong or South Korea or Japan. You can't. Okay, I have a question, Norbert. Can you make a top 10 all-time best action film list without including at least an Enter the Dragon or a 13 Assassins or Hard-Boiled the Killer? Yeah. Can you? I mean, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I mean, like I'm just mentioning 5. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Jackie Chan. Can you? Is your list? Well, does that make sense if there's no like Asian action?
No, not at all. You know, different times, man. You know what I mean? When we were kids, this stuff just used to come on TV because it was cheap content for the networks to buy and put on television. So we grew up watching, great martial arts movies, and this is why Shang-Chi is marketed towards us. Marvel Comics in the 70s was just like, hey, let's just make Shang-Chi. Okay, oh, cool, that works. Okay, let's just make Iron Fist, because Kung Fu was a thing. James Bond, for Christ's sake, they put some martial arts in there because Enter the Dragon was popular. Which one of those movies was it? It wasn't oh my god.
Gosh.
Brain just died.
Was it Connery?
I think it was.
Was it the one where he became Japanese? But that's Japan, not remember? And he became a ninja?
Yeah, man. This is what happens, man. These things get popular and people just jump on them. And so here we are. Shang-Chi, that is homage to all of the great martial arts movies. Martial arts movies gives us wire work, the wire work that they ended up using in the Matrix. They didn't just make that up. You know what I mean? The multiple hand punch thing that Smith does to Neo when he's up against the wall.
Oh, that's old.
That's super old school anime, Fist of the North Stars. You know what I mean? Dragon Ball. So Shang-Chi has so much to pay homage to and build on top of.
Can I give some respect to 1995 Mortal Kombat real quick?
That movie's awesome.
Dude, Paul W. Sanderson, Robin Chow, like the final fight is there's one scene where there's 17 strikes without a cut. Right. And just watching, there's wire work in it. Like this is like Paul, what I love? Paul W. Sanderson's like, everyone talks about The Matrix, but like he's like, we were the first like American movie to have a lot of wire work in it with the fights. He's like, but no one gives me credit. They give Matrix credit. But I guess, you think about Black Christmas as far as slasher movie goes, and everyone thinks about Halloween. So I guess that's fair. But watch Mortal Kombat again.
It's that Disney money, man. It's that Disney money. Imagine Mortal Kombat from 95 with Disney money. Good God. Man. The exact same movie, just with Disney money.
But just the fights, man, the fights and like, even rate. When a movie's good, when I think a movie's good, this is how I think a movie's good, Norbert. When a villain like Razor Fist has his own car, because it's a deep bench. When a movie like Die Hard, right? Predator, Royal Tenenbaums, Jaws, all Doctor Strangelove. When there are characters that are side characters that become iconic, that's when a movie's good. And that's why I like Shang-Chi, because it just, I don't know, it has the deep bench, and I love it. And Michelle Yeoh, man, oh, geez Louise. We haven't talked about her.
Not because there's so much going on. Yeah. And Michelle Yeoh refuses to age, first of all. She's doing all her own work. She goes from being a model to, oh, by the way, I can also punch you right in the jaw and make it look good. She's brilliant as it. She's brilliant in the movie. As not just and she's not just playing some mom figure, she's a boss. Okay. She's not mom, she's not auntie, she's not grandma, she is a boss. And she will help give Awkwafina a little advice to, hey, why don't you go
archery,
do archery, because your time as comic relief has ended. We don't need you to be funny anymore. Finally, Abomination. Okay, what's the deal with Abomination being cool now? How's Abomination cool now?
I just like that Wong's making extra money beating people up.
Side hustle. It's kayfabe. It's kayfabe. They're doing WWE in the beginning of that movie.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I love it. Oh my gosh. Hey, so how about this? You want to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk Eternals, Spider-Man: No Way Home, and if we have other awards, we can dole those out. You want to take a quick break?
No problem, champ.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And so we've covered Black Widow. We've covered Shang-Chi. Let's cover Eternals and Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is insane for a half hour. I just want to tell you, so I went to a screening of like a press screening for Eternals, and I remember watching it, and I enjoyed it. But I just thought to myself, audiences are not going to, I was like, this is not going to go over well. I remember when I watched Wonder Woman 1984. And I dug the insanity of it. I was like, yes, give me more bonkers insanity. But I'm like, people won't like this. And I mean, Eternals right now is sitting at 47% rotten. It's the only rotten MCU movie. And I was listening to the Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong podcast, and one of the guests on the show was talking about how they read the comic books, and so every scene they're like, yeah, Angelina Jolie, it shows her PTSD, and like he was breaking down. But I thought to myself, like, I don't know the comic book. So when I watched this, I just knew not every character was serviced. And if you think about Black Panther and Spider-Man, they were introduced in Civil War, then they got their own movies. And Spider-Man had his own lore before this. Chloe Zhao was asked in this movie to explain why a group of wildly powerful Superman-esque immortals have been on Earth for thousands of years, did not engage in all the shenanigans that has happened, and then they have to battle a Titan, save the world, all have unique personalities, spread around the world. It's like a recruiting movie. Like they go from place to place recruiting people. It's just too much. And also, Chloe Zhao is this art house director. And as much as I would have loved to see a $200 million Chloe Zhao movie, that's not going to happen with MCU. So what we're left with is half her, half Marvel, a lot of characters. But it still worked for me. I still enjoyed it. I think it had enough there. It asked enough big questions for me to enjoy it. But all the hate, I guess people just haven't put Eternals in context, right? But I don't understand how this is 47%. Do you?
No.
I guess I do, but it's not a 47% movie.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is a perfectly cromulent film, as they would say in The Simpsons. It's perfectly cromulent. And the characters, I don't feel a lot of people who complained about this movie, there are too many people. I don't understand what's going on. Then clearly you're just playing with your phone. I didn't find it hard to follow.
No, there's no. Okay. Please, go ahead. I hate Norbert when people are like, I'm watching this movie. Someone's like, I'm watching Wonder Woman 1984. I have no clue what's going on. Yeah, because you're fucking tweeting. Watch the movie. Like, seriously, Norbert, you just summed it up. You're on your phone, or you hated it already, or you have some agenda to push.
Exactly.
Like, if you watch any of these movies, you know what's going on. It's all bullshit.
It is 100%. I found each character to be very distinct.
Yes.
Exactly who was doing what.
Exactly. The action scenes, I knew what was going on, Norbert. I knew what was going on in the action scenes.
Exactly. It was a little bit dark because apparently Miss Zhao wanted to use natural light. But okay, that's fine. You know, I get it. You know, have you watched the Zack Snyder movie lately? You know, those movies aren't bright.
The same people who hate Zack Snyder movies were like, the Eternals is garbage. Or no, same people who love Zack Snyder were like, Eternals is crap. Like, you should love the Eternals if you love Zack Snyder.
Yeah. If I do have to complain about a character, I will say that, and this is a problem with billions of movies, the people who we're supposed to root for to fall in love, not the most interesting couple. They don't have a lot of great chemistry together. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give my first award today. My first award today goes to the Superman guy. What's his character's name? I forgot.
But he flies so close to the sun.
Icarus, thank you.
Yeah.
So the award
Richard Madden.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. The award for, of course, this is the bad guy, goes to Icarus. Because clearly, you know, for the first 10 minutes, this guy, it looks like it hurts his face to smile, for God's sake, man. And he's with this lovely woman, not just outside, but she seems really cool. You know?
She's legit. Yeah, she's awesome.
When they're together, I don't find the sparks, man. You know, they're very bland couple. a very bland couple.
Did you like her with Kit Harington?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But that's because Kit Harington, man, he's in a movie with Andy Samberg where they play tennis guys who play.
Yeah.
So I know
7 Days of Hell or something.
Yes, I know he's got comedy chops. You know, I know he's got comedy chops.
It's just nice seeing him happy and not glowering.
This is it. You know, if there's a movie that has a movie or a piece of media that has two men from Game of Thrones, one of them is the bad guy. Period. That's it. This is a rule. This is an axiom. I'm willing to stake my life on this. And once you see that, you know, Kit Harington is the happy, cheerful, go lucky guy. Yeah, the other guy's the bad guy.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, he's the Superman-esque, right? You know, he's the villain. I think that it was never never a surprise.
It wasn't a surprise at the end that he was the villain. I did like, though, the way that, oh, by the way, actually, the Celestials, they kind of want everybody to die because that's how they're born. And so this is how things go. Spoiler alert. To me, that was a surprise because as much as I get into comics, a lot of stuff that Jack Kirby creates on his own, just for me personally, really weird, really out there.
I love that.
Yeah. And in comics, it's gorgeous. Because the one problem that people who are super into comics might have with this movie is that, like we were saying, it's a little dark. But if you look at a page of Jack Kirby art, my God, it'll singe your eyes, the colors, man. There's a literal phrase called the Kirby crackle, you know? Where you have a little circle of power, but there are little dots of a different color around it. It looks amazing. And so here everything's very muted. Mm-hmm. But it's a great movie.
And you know what I love too? I had to do some research for this for the RT is Wrong episode, and Barry Keoghan was like, "Hey, do I need to use an American accent?" Chloe's I was like, "No, just speak your Irish accent." And so he's super blue collar Irish. He's like, "Man, like blue collar Irish are going to see a superhero for the first time ever." He was really excited. Brian Tyree Henry was like, "Do I need to get buff?" And she's like, "No." And like he said, he almost cried. She's like, "I just want you who you are." Kumail Nanjiani got buff and she got mad at him. Like she's like, I didn't want this. He's like, well,
he didn't even take his shirt off.
Yeah, and like but she said I didn't want this. He's like, well, I see the way it is. And also Lauren Ridloff too. You know what's interesting? I read some interviews. She's a Makari in this, and I guess she was having problems with Chloe Zhao's direction. And so Angelina Jolie, who's a director, was like, hey, get a red pointer for her because she just had to react when everyone else reacted. But then on set, they got a red pointer. So every time she saw it, she could react on time with the rest of the crew. But so this was a crew that was supportive of each other. They wanted them to be who they were. I don't know. I liked the only complaint I have about this movie is Don Lee as Gilgamesh gets killed. Dude destroys billions of zombies in Train to Busan. Right.
Yes, he does.
And then in this one, they kill him off. There's no because, they're like, oh, you're supposed to care that a character dies. But we don't know him. So we don't care that a character dies. Keep Don Lee a badass alive. Don't. You know what I mean, Norbert? Like, if you want to kill somebody, do it after 7 episodes to make an impact. Don't just kill somebody because we have to have stakes. Like, don't kill Don Lee. Dude's like the best movie puncher on the planet, and you kill him.
Dude, he's not just punching. He is punching the life out of these massive vascular creatures who just literally stab you to death and then drain your life force. And he's got such a great smile, and he's so nice. You absolutely believe everything when he's trying to take care of going insane Angelina Jolie. He's adorable. Yeah, man, I agree.
He just slams things in the face.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do my first award here, and we've gone away from awards, but MFF we don't stick to plans ever.
No, we don't.
So we don't. I'm gonna say the camera bit when Harish Patel, who might steal this movie, I would say.
I love his character.
Yeah, but he has that nice camera, then that gets bashed, and he has another camera that gets bashed, and he has another camera. He's like, always come prepared, and it's just. You love the guy in this movie. He's wildly endearing. And so he's a longtime Bollywood star. And he said his life changed after this movie came out. And everyone started recognizing him in the States. But he didn't just feel like comedic relief. He felt like he's like, oh, I thought you were a vampire to Kingo. Like it's right. It's oh no, I love the camera scene because they just keep breaking and breaking. And there was a thing where this is all like, I'm so tired of trailer culture. Somebody saw him in a trailer and like, oh, we just caught a mistake. There's a cameraman in the shot. Like that was a thing, Norbert.
There's a lot of hate in the planet these days, brother.
Like, I hate you. And
oh my God,
this movie though, man, it's a good movie. I don't understand. I have a friend Jack. He has the Alter Ego podcast. He and I were talking about this, and we just love this movie. I mean,
it's a great movie because even though the love interests, they don't have much chemistry. The rest of the cast, every time they get together, you get that these people have known each other for a long time. They've worked together. Every time they say, "This is my friend from college," it's hilarious because they do act like the people that you meet in college, and you're just hanging out together. You know, the way that Sprite gets along with Ajak, the mother figure. It's beautiful, you know, and how you got the super dour Icarus, but the rest of them are just like, oh, shut up, dude, whatever. You're such a movie guy. They seem like they really like each other, and it's a family movie. It's about getting back together. You know, why did we split up? You know, we should have always stayed together. We need each other. We're better when we're together, and that's a powerful message, especially today. It's a good movie.
I do think I just knew when I'm walking out was that it. Sometimes I wish Chloe Zhao would have totally wanted to make a Marvel movie, or I wish Marvel would have let her make her movie. I do think there are elements of like comedic relief and other elements that take away from, because imagine if this would have been pretty heavy. Like I would have enjoyed this, but I think I would have enjoyed it as an MCU movie. But I do feel like it pinballs in tone a little bit, but I still like it. I still like it a lot. And I also think too, like they're like, listen, we need you to introduce 40,000 characters in one movie. We need you to set up Harry Styles. We need you to set up Kit Harington. We need you to set up all these different characters for more movies in one movie. Like that's not, Guardians of the Galaxy is just a bunch of idiots coming together. These are immortals. And also too, Norbert, I don't know if you thought about this, but what annoyed me was they had to constantly explain why they didn't help out with Thanos.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You know why they didn't help out? Because the movie wasn't greenlit. Like
that's right.
It's you shouldn't fans should understand that. I hate telling people what to do, but this movie was greenlit afterwards. So you don't need an hour explaining why. Like you don't need that. You don't like to say we were told not to intervene, or oh, when that happened we were on planet blah 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 fighting that's blah blah blah. Like it just.
Well, those are the same people who run around Lord of the Rings. Well, why didn't the birds just fly them there? The end. Because the movie needs to happen, bro. Just calm down.
Yeah. With the birds, like birds were busy.
Yeah. Be nice.
Like you're supposed to keep it like under wraps too. Like they wanted to be quiet. Like it's just Norbert. Like I don't know the whole thing of just why didn't you help? Well, we were told not to. Okay, move on so we can have more character stuff.
It's done, and that's why the Eternals win my "We Were Busy" award. Because they weren't around for Thanos, and that's okay. It's fine. We don't need everybody. The same people complain that there are too many characters in this movie wonder why we didn't add 10 more characters to the MCU during Endgame. Shut up, bro. It can't be both. It can't be both, man. I have two questions for you, Hoffmeyer. First of all, number one, if a movie takes place in England, does the double-decker bus always have to be destroyed on screen?
Yes. Or like in Harry Potter, it needs to be driven. Like a double-decker Euro trip, it needs to have soccer hooligans in it. Chaos needs to happen on this bus.
That is my first question. And number two, when that character was introduced and their name was Sprite, did you immediately think to yourself, obey your thirst?
No.
I am a victim of urban marketing techniques from the late 90s, early 2000s. Anytime somebody says the word Sprite, I think obey your thirst. And there's some guy with a basketball dunking it and then drinking Sprite. And I hate Sprite and Mountain Dew.
Does Sprite do anything for your thirst?
Sprite makes you thirstier because it's basically sugar, 99% and 1% water.
Yeah.
But you have to obey it.
But I don't know. I know, like when Makari starts going full speedster in this, Norbert, like that was.
Woo!
I knew what she was doing.
Yeah. Even for a dark movie, again, it was a little dark, but there was nothing I couldn't see. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I think it's this narrative. I really do. Someone reads it and then they're like, oh my gosh, like this is so dark. No.
This is another thing that Jerry Conway mentioned to me on the Twitter. He said that back then there weren't so many stakes when he was writing for Marvel in the 70s. There weren't so many stakes. There wasn't social media paying attention to you. So you could just do what you want. And they had a long leash to just make stuff up, because you didn't have these constant vultures just leaping in your face, picking every single plot point apart. Comic book guy was funny on The Simpsons, but now there are millions of him and they're real. And it's messing up movies, bro. You can't
get millions of views.
Yeah. Oh man, the rage videos on YouTube for everything. Eternals is a good movie. They managed to bring a creature out of the middle of the earth and the hand is just sticking up and they just leave it there. That's great. I think that's hilarious. It's a mountain now.
They should put condos on it.
Oh, you think they won't? You think they won't? I mean, it's basically leaving room for that Superman Returns Lex Luthor plot point where he was trying to destroy the world so that he could create new real estate for people to buy. Like, everyone's going to be dead. I don't care. I'm Lex Luthor. Okay.
You know what I love too? At least this movie was save billions to like prevent billions from living. Sometimes there's that movie where it's like, I got to save this one person to prevent millions from dying.
Right.
The whole plot line of this felt really palatable.
The moral dilemma is high, though, man, because once the Eternal breaks it down that, okay, we're born by destroying these planets and draining the life out of all the intelligent creatures on it. But at the same time, we make suns. And then these suns create galaxies, or we also create galaxies and suns. And so this enables even trillions, right? So when Kumail Nanjiani, he's like, nah, you know what? He's kind of right, But at the same time, I'm not going to fight with you, because by not allowing the Earth to be destroyed, you do save billions, but there are trillions of lives. Galaxies have untold numbers of intelligent life within them. So it's a real interesting conundrum. Do I want to die? No. But at the same time, I like it. I found it to be real thought provoking, man. So people who hate this movie I don't know what to say. They just like movies with trailers. Boom! Here comes the boom! Here comes the boom! You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here come the boys from the South. All right, so we're going to do some real quick Spider-Man No Way Home, because we'll touch on this more in a future episode, maybe do a standalone, because there's so much to pack in this episode.
Dude, there's a lot. And I need the home version to arrive so that I can rewatch this again and again and again. Oh my God, I love this movie so much.
I'm going to say it features the best bread throwing of any MCU movie, with Zendaya throwing bread, which is amazing, because she just keeps throwing bread at Andrew Garfield, who has an amazing so the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he and Emma Stone did the best they could, but they're still the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I love seeing Garfield in this, and also Matt Murdock catching a brick is my second award. I lost my shit seeing that.
You and me both.
But my favorite things involve throwing. So you have bread thrown and a brick thrown. So those are my two awards. But seeing Matt Murdock in this made me very happy.
All right. Well, I have one award that is the This Is How Explosions Work award. And I give that one to Aunt May because, unfortunately, spoiler alert, she dies from this explosion. Mind you, this is the same explosion that the Green Goblin causes in Spider-Man 1 when Aunt May's praying on her knees. And she just eats it. She's just like, finish the prayer. It's like, from evil. Like, how is that old woman alive? The wall is gone behind her, bro. And she was even closer to the wall than Aunt May was to that glass explosion.
Oh, man.
Like, air is displaced. You gotta die, bro. Yeah.
Defoe, man. Oh, man.
No, Defoe's a monster. He just likes blowing up people and things. Yeah. But and my last award, the unintentional Backstreet Boys award, goes to when the three of them are just standing there with their masks off. Oh, my God. It's so dreamy.
Oh, yeah, that was good. And then just, hey, Peter. Yeah. Peter Parker. Oh, man. Yeah. But like Tobey Maguire, I think he had his time to shine. Andrew Garfield, people like those movies, but I don't think they're the best. But I think he rocked. He had a great 2021, by the way. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And then he was also in Tick, Tick, Boom and Mainstream. Really good movies. So it was wonderful seeing him do this. But just seeing his sense of humor and getting his redemption, and he saves MJ. But I got to tell you, man, she just kept throwing bread. She just throws bread.
Don't you have your Spidey sense? It's not
She's
how it
hilarious,
works.
dude. She's hilarious in this movie, Zendaya. I love her droll. She's very droll in it.
Yes. Yes.
And man, I love it. And then just seeing Matt Murdock back. And Kevin Feige, though, did troll Marvel fans a little bit. He's like, well, if we make another Daredevil movie, he'll be in it. So, and then the next day you hear everyone's like, oh, Matt Murdock's going to be in another one. No, he said if.
Yeah. Yeah. If.
But that was cool seeing, man. And because I think Daredevil might be my favorite. Daredevil and WandaVision are my favorite MCU properties. I just love how street level Daredevil is.
Oh, agreed. I recently rewatched the whole series of Daredevil, and in my opinion, it's the best MCU TV show. It is.
Elektra, man. I think she's cool too. That was perfect casting.
Elektra nails it. And
I like Bullseye too. Like he's scary.
Yes.
I think about him sometimes. I'm like, that's a good villain. He's scared.
Yeah, he is. And it's good that he's not actually dead, so they could eventually bring him back, because this is what comic. That's another complaint that the YouTubers go for. Why do they keep recycling the same? That's how comic books work, bro. Since the 1930s, they keep bringing villains back. That's the way it is. He's getting his revenge. Oh my God. Anyway, the Spider-Man movie. This Spider-Man movie, you are rewarded for watching everything else, like you were mentioning before. You know, it feels like homework where you have to go back and watch it. Not necessarily. They do a good job of explaining what it is. The three Parkers managed to keep their personality. Tobey Maguire, he's still the muted, kind of calm. You know, you get the streetwise vibe from Garfield. And Holland is just a child, but he's starting to grow up a bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I always felt that Garfield played the best Peter Parker on screen. That's my opinion.
Oh, wow.
He had the best Peter Parker vibe, because eventually in the 2000s, that's how Peter Parker started to act. He wasn't a child anymore, but he was still not necessarily an adult. And he was a little bit more guarded.
Hey, real quick, is something wiping on you when you're talking?
Oh, wiping? No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm hearing like a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, cool. Sorry. I know it's the end of the pod. I probably should have said that sooner, but I was like,
no, that's fine.
All right, just jump back into it, and I'll fit it back in.
Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, he's a streetwise Parker, and he's an adult, but not really. He's in the perfect sweet spot of where Peter Parker is in the comics. So I always like Garfield.
I guess I never read the comics, so watching his character, I missed the earnestness of Tobey Maguire, if that makes sense. But I wasn't familiar with the character in the comics. I think Spider-Man 2 is so good. What's your Spider-Man ranking, by the way? Before we get out of here, what's your Spider-Man ranking?
Let's see. Well, this one, No Way Home, and then number 2 from Raimi, number 1 from Raimi. Man, that's it. The other one's just, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's it.
Oh, man, I like it.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Because it's not Andrew and Emma's fault that The Amazing Spider-Man weren't great movies. That was 100% just Sony, and that was just total. It was total greed.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies looked good. They looked good. The costume was awesome. But again, how many times do we have to see Uncle Ben get killed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you make Electro into just this CGI monstrosity? Look how much better Electro looked in this movie, just wearing basically like work clothes.
And then introducing the Sinister Six, and then
low-key Sinister Six.
Yeah, no,
beautiful.
2's my favorite, I think, and then I really like Homecoming, but I say it a lot because I worked on it.
Yeah,
so I like it nice. I mean, I like. All right, so these are the ones I think about. I think about Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1 and 2 from Raimi. I think about Homecoming because I love Keaton in it, and I think Zendaya is really cool, and I love how small scale it is.
Yes,
I love that.
The best Spider-Man stories have always been just Spider-Man deals with Situation X as a regular person would. Oh, by the way, he also has superpowers and can throw a car at you. That's what makes it interesting. And then that moment when Keaton is in the car and the light goes from red to green. He's like, oh, wait, this kid's Spider-Man. Oh, my God. Chills.
So good.
Chills. And you know that he's not superpowered, but you don't doubt that he can't kill Peter.
Oh, man, great. That's an all-timer. Keaton kills that, man. Oh, my gosh. And is it bad, though, that I really haven't thought about Spider-Man No Way Home since it was released? I remember sitting in the theater enjoying it, but ever since then, I haven't really thought about it. And I think one thing about it is there's nothing really weird about it. It's just an all around good movie.
Right. It's okay.
But like there hasn't been like, Eternals. People are like, oh, this movie sucks. Like, no, it doesn't. So that's kept me thinking about it. When I think about Black Widow, it's me like analyzing my thoughts about it, my expectations, and Yelena in Hawkeye. I think it's really kept it fresh in my memory. But Spider-Man No Way Home, since I've watched it, I haven't really thought about it. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's because a lot of these Tom Holland movies are basically Iron Man 2.0. It's so much with the armor, and with Tony Stark, it's not so much about Peter. And the best part of this movie is that it resets Peter to kind of where he was in the 80s, when he used to live in just this terrible apartment in Chelsea, when Chelsea was a bad neighborhood in the 80s, and he was like dating Black Cat, and he was just, he was still very street level, dealing with a lot of street level things, and just broke.
That's what I like.
Yeah, the next movies are gonna be more about him. But the Tom Holland ones, not so memorable, which is why I didn't really put them in there. But they're not bad.
No,
Holland's not bad. They're not bad, but they're not super memorable. I remember more about Eternals than I do about the first two Holland movies. This one here with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have always had some cool team ups, so that's why it was great to see it.
I completely forgot that Doctor Strange was in it.
You see, this is my point. So Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have always had some great team ups in the comics, and Doctor Strange actually does try to help him do this in the comic books. He makes a deal with the devil to save Aunt May, and they erase his marriage, and then he resets to being Peter Parker. But eventually, he does go to Doctor Strange, and this is some of what they say is almost verbatim from the comics, as Doctor Strange is trying to do that spell to try to get people to not remember him. Yeah, so it's a lot of little nuggets for people who are deep into the comics are in there. But again, it adds to the flavor. It doesn't take away if you haven't seen or read these things in the past.
So of all these Marvel properties that were released this year, and I'm like, Norbert, you're going to a desert island. You're going to a really nice island for a year. You'll have wonderful lodging, plenty of food, but it's just you. And you can the only thing you can bring with you is one MCU TV show and one MCU movie. Which ones would you bring?
I'm bringing Daredevil. And
from this year.
Oh, from this year. Okay, from this year. The movies. I'm bringing Spider-Man, just because he's my favorite superhero, and I can't live without Spider-Man in my life. And in terms of TV shows, we've had Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and what's the other one?
Like you said them all. The four: WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, then I think I'm gonna go with Loki because it was really weird.
I'm gonna take Hawkeye and Black Widow because they're the least maintenance. Just put them on.
Yeah,
I don't want to cry on a desert island.
No, man, I'm gonna take Loki because Jonathan Majors just the build up to him is worth it.
And Alligator Loki.
Oh my god, Alligator Loki's hilarious, and Loki having an actual arc.
Yeah, he does.
He realized that you know what, I actually am a dirtbag.
I'm a creep. We need a copy version of that because that's already depressing enough.
You got to slow. Sorry.
That would take you like 3 hours to sing if you did a trailer version of Creep.
Seriously.
Hey, well, thank you so much for joining me, Norbert. This was a lot of fun.
Anytime, brother.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movie Sold the Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.